SmackDown is coming to the Yum Center this Friday night. We've had on some of your favorite SmackDown superstars the past couple weeks, like Austin Theory, Grayson Waller, and now, last but not least, welcoming on another rising star over on SmackDown. His name is Santos Escobar. Santos, thanks so much for taking the time today, man.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for this opportunity to have this one-on-one with my audience over there. We're getting ready to be there this Friday.
Absolutely. And, I mentioned we had Austin Theory on a couple weeks ago. That was a couple days
Eh,
before your match with him for the U.S. title on SmackDown. Obviously, it didn't turn out how you wanted it to. You'd like to have that title on your shoulder, I'm sure, but your good friend, Rey Mysterio, your mentor, he comes away with the title. Just want to kind of get your overall thoughts on how that situation played out.
Well, number one, I'm a little disappointed, of course, because I couldn't get to defeat Austin Theory, which was something that, believe me, that was going to happen. I had his number. I still have his number. Thank God Ray was there, and we stick together like family. And I've fought fights for him before in the past, and this was an opportunity for him to, pay back. He asked for my blessing, and of course, he got it. And we defeated Austin Theory. I know Ray is a champion right now, but it almost feels like the LWO is the champion.
I think that's, so neat. You're rocking the LWO on your shirt and you talk about, you talk about what it means to kind of represent them. You guys had moments, of course, starting back up and at WrestleMania. As we've had some antagonists on the show the last couple weeks, Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, the thorn in your side. And they've been trying to spark things up, especially last Friday on SmackDown on the Grayson Waller effect. It seems like they're trying to. What can you make of these two guys trying to cause a divide in the LWO right now?
Well, these two guys are clowns. I mean, they're clowns, and they stay together. I understand. Ray and I had Waller effect show. We got there and it was an ambush. It's fine. We're used to it, but do not forget, Ray is a champion. And when Ray and I are together, we're undefeatable. We hold victories over people like the Usos, Shelton, Benjamin, Cedric Alexander, and you can just go on. You can go on with the
These are
list.
high accomplished tag team, Santos.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what they're doing. Uh, I defeated Grayson Waller to get to that title opportunity, and I
Facts.
defeated Austin Theory clean before that title match happened. So I got both of them numbers. Ray and me together, we're undefeatable. So I would advise Grayson and Austin to just shut up and be on their way. Because if they go on with this, they're going to find themselves in a world of trouble and a world of pain. Now, I'm not clear to compete right now as it is because of Austin Theory. But trust me, my mind, my heart are strong. I'm a strong willed person, and I will come back. And when I come back, I will come back full steam.
Now, speaking of Rey Mysterio, there's been a lot of mentor versus student type matchups in WWE history before. And obviously, you would have liked to leave with that U.S. title on that Friday night. Do you ever see, maybe a one-on-one match between you and Rey, mano y mano, just out of respect and see who the better man is on that certain night for the title possibly one day?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I mean, we already went at it just to get an opportunity at this title. Now that he holds the title, the one thing that I know for sure is that he will give me an opportunity when the time comes. Like I said, I'm not ready to compete right now because of Austin Theory. And before I go for the title, I would like to repay Austin in kind.
You talk about and we were kind of talking before the show, Santos Escobar, about your heritage, and we can, look at your background display now, everything that you've come for. Growing up, just being a lucha fan, your father was a lucha legend. What really got you? And of course, it's a different sort of art and a different sort of culture from luchador and American wrestling. When you were growing up, what kind of attracted you to American wrestling? Like I said, it was a little bit different than what you're used to and growing up with. Is there anything specific, any specific act that kind of got you into, American wrestling and said, I kind of want to go do that too, mixed with what I'm doing with the luchador style here?
Absolutely. I've told this before, and it's a very vivid memory I have. I was with my dad watching WWE, and it was Shawn Michaels on TV, and I told my dad. I remember I told him that's what I want to do, and it was obviously not the same thing I was used to watching, which was lucha libre, which is in essence it's the same, but it's got very important differences,
Sure.
like the masks, the capes, the psychology overall of what we do in lucha libre is different than the American style, so to speak. And I remember I told my dad that's what I want to do, and he just turned to me and said, "Go for it. I know you can." And that was Shawn Michaels, but I remember vividly DX. I remember Eddie
Oh
and
yeah.
Chavo. I remember Ray, of course, Kurt Angle, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and of course Vince McMahon. How can I forget that? And I always thought to myself, I'm gonna be there one day, and the day came.
If you remember back in the day, and this is kind of when and Billy likes to tell this story, he first really got into wrestling when the Great Khali came about, and they had that image of the Great Khali squeezing Rey Mysterio's head. Do you remember that?
Absolutely, yeah. How can I forget all those epic matches that Ray had, not just with the Great Khali, but the Big Show, Mark Henry,
Mm-hmm.
Triple H. It was always the little guy versus the huge American guy, and the way we see it in Mexico was like it was one of ours going against one of the international superstars.
Sure.
Yeah, the first ever wrestling event I attended was that fateful night where Rey Mysterio got his head squeezed by Great Khali, and I'm sitting there as like a 10-year-old, like, what in the world is going on? And I was
Did
just
you did
go
you
ahead.
think his eyes would pop out?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
like, he's gotta be rushed to the ER or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
and after that, I was hooked, man. Like that was my first taste of wrestling, and ever since then, I've been a fan. So we might have fans like that this Friday night at the Yum Center that may be getting their first taste of wrestling, and they see Ray and all the other big time superstars out there, and they get hooked from it. So that's always a cool thing.
No, absolutely, and it's not just us. It's gonna be a play with superstars. Bobby Lashley's gonna be there. The Brawling Brutes, Jey Uso, Solo Sikoa, Charlotte Flair, AJ Styles, and of course the advertised main event, which is gonna be Matt Riddle versus Finn Balor.
Mm.
So it's gonna be a 5-star, top tier, top shelf show.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have your shot to win tickets to that show on our website, WAMC.com, keyword contest. And if you're listening to this on the day that it drops, which is Wednesday, the 23rd, tomorrow, me and Austin are going to be out at the Kentucky State Fair at the Expo Center, hanging out with the Street Profits. And we'll have your shot to win premium tickets there. So you can come by and see us if you are in the Louisville area, of course, and want to attend the show on Friday. So a couple of opportunities for people to win tickets to SmackDown this Friday night at the Yum Center.
Also tickets start at $20, so it's an opportunity to be there and represent. And just for my LWO fans out there, the WWE universe out there, remember Latino World Order represents Latinos in America, Latinos in the US, Latinos around the world. And if you're an underdog, we represent you. Latino World Order for life, Papa.
Well, on that note, I'll give one more question. We'll send you on your way, Santos. This has been awesome. We've talked a lot about the heritage of lucha libre and the history of it. Do you have a favorite lucha match? Right, like I think back to Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero at Halloween Havoc in '97. Like a bunch of great ones from WCW, of course. But what would be your personal favorite?
Oh, I have tons. Ones that very near and dear for me was Halloween Havoc, because I had the opportunity 20 years after the fact to rock that same gear at Halloween Havoc on NXT.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I came out on top with the Cruiserweight title, by the way.
Yes.
So
Fantastic match.
that's probably the most important one of that era. But trust me, I have tons and tons and tons, because it's that period of time, that movement started by Psychosis and Rey Mysterio on ECW that jump started everything for us.
Absolutely.
And I just want to stretch that. It was them who paved the way for all of us.
You can see Santos and all your favorite SmackDown superstars this Friday at the Yum Center. Santos, thanks again for taking the time, man. We'll see you guys next time right here on the Baby Faces podcast.
See y'all this Friday.